Defender number 4, Gabe Robinson. Defender number 5, Javin Torrey. Defender number 15, Brian De La Fuente. Midfielder number 23, Christian Torres. Midfielder number 88, Junior Sandoval. Midfielder number 26, Christian soccer fans, welcome to the pitch for tonight's match. The Las Vegas Lights and your Austin Paul.
For one final time, we welcome you to Austin, Texas, here in the 2019 campaign, the inaugural season of the USL Championship in the state capital. Bold welcoming to town the Lights of Las Vegas. If the Austin Bold do host another match, it'll be in the postseason. A road trip begins this next weekend. Critical points on the line for both the Bold and the Lights tonight. We take a look at the Western Conference table coming into this Sunday. The Bold right now precariously sitting in 7th in a tight race, sitting on 40 points. Las Vegas, big 3 points against Fresno, but need to accumulate some points here today to continue to climb back into the playoff picture and the top 10. Welcome to Bold Stadium, everybody. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico. Kit, what a ride it has been starting this past spring. In fact, these two teams met for the first ever matchup for the Austin Bold in Las Vegas, a scoreless draw. We expect a few more fireworks tonight. In fact, we're guaranteed fireworks in this regular season finale at home for the Bold.
But for the Bold right now, it's about winning. They're in playoff position, 7th place in the Western Conference standings. They need to stay there, and this is a big one. They've lost the last 2 at home. Can they rebound tonight against a good side from Las Vegas?
Critical 3 points. We mentioned they head on the road after this. We take a look at the men to watch, and well, this man available off the bench, but Irvin Parra among those able to get back into the scoring column this past week in that huge win against the men from California.
Parra's been outstanding this year. After a 7-game scoreless streak, he got back in. They call him last week, as you mentioned, against Fresno. Leads Las Vegas in goals and assists, and he is only one of 7 players in the USL Championship with 11 or more goals and 6 or more assists this season.
Again, he'll be available as a super sub. Not the case for Andre Lima in this first ever campaign. He's the all-time leading scorer, of course, in Austin history.
The big Brazilian, he has led up front all season. 10 goals, the only Bold player in double digits, but the last few matches, he has not been his usual self. They're going to need him to get off on a great start tonight.
Las Vegas comes to town. If they do their job, they'll turn out the lights in Austin in this home finale for the Bold.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet and make some noise for the starting 11 for your Austin Paul. Introducing to you first, number 34 defender, Gustavo Ricci. Number 3, midfielder, Edson Brapa. Number 8, Javi Baez. Number 94, Kluber. Number 45, Emma Tomasi. Number 17 defender, Sean McFarland. Number 15 midfielder, Amobi Akugo. Number 99 forward, Andre Lima. Number 4 defender, Jermaine Taylor. Midfielder number 27, Valeri Saramuta. And goalkeeper number 24, Diego Restrepo. And introducing the head coach for your Austin Bold, Marcelo Serrano. Ladies and gentlemen, your Austin Bold. All righty, fans. We are set For our game tonight, let's give it up for our Austin Bold.
Moments away from opening kick, as all the pregame ceremonies just concluding between the Austin Bold and Las Vegas Lights. Again, it was March 9th, the very first ever match for the Austin Bold when they traveled to Las Vegas. Mentioned a scoreless draw in that one. We take a look at this lineup for Eric Wynaldo's squad in the rematch.
Good side here. Olsen on the back line has done a fantastic job in goal. And there's a lot of firepower up front. This team can score a lot of goals, and they've seen that in the last few matches. They're going to be looking to do that tonight, especially with Tabor Ataka, the man leading the way.
Of course, Captain Brian De La Fuente across the way. The men for Marcelo Serrano playing their final home match unless they can climb back up and claim a home playoff berth with the right to host as a top seed. Of course, Diego Restrepo, the man, back in net. But Risi is back in the lineup for his second start. We saw him with his first ever goal up in Colorado Springs, his first chance to be back in the 11 since then.
The young Brazilian on loan from Cruzeiro gets the start of the middle of the back line, but it's a three up top to keep an eye on the two Brazilians, Kluber and Lima, alongside the speedy Emma Chumasi on loan from FC Dallas.
Lincoln Rose, Kip McConico, great to have you joining with us in on this Sunday afternoon for some USL Championship. Let's check in for the first time today down on the pitch with Allie Trost.
Thanks, Lincoln. When preparing for tonight's match against the Bold, Vegas head coach Eric Wynaldo admitted to me this week that he probably watched the Bold's last game against Reno 5 or 6 times. And although the Bold lost that game 2-1 here at home, he did find some positives in that tape. That positive? Corner kick opportunities. He said that that's something they're going to have to be very aware of in limiting the Bold, who drew 15 against Reno, and although they only converted on 1, Wynaldo is adamant that this game is going to come down to set pieces. Therefore, he said for his team, the key is going to be shutting them down on those wings, not letting them get up and down the flank so that they can't get those crosses off, and therefore create some potential corner kick opportunities. Guys?
Allie, thank you very much. Again, Eric Wynaldo will be matching wits with Marcelo Serrano here today. Eric Wynaldo with all of his great stops in recent years. Of course, these days at the helm of Las Vegas Lights. What cut the deepest was he watched that Reno-Austin matchup 3 times, but he muted the announcer all 3 times as well.
Wise decision.
Yeah. Andre Lima here set to go, just about hovering over the ball. We mentioned already in double digits. The Samba in attendance. Fans got to pose with that Copa Tejas that the Bold have already locked up. They still have one more Copa Tejas clash when they travel to El Paso, but that will be just a matchup trying to claim 3 points for the overall table.
For Austin, you can't overestimate the importance of this match, considering they've lost the last 2 at home. Final 4 matches of the road, all of the year, all on the road. They need a victory today. They need the full 3 points, and they have brought a very good starting 11 looking to get it.
Valeri Saramutin, the New Jersey-born Russian, in the 11 again for the Bold. Take a look at this matchup. Austin now 9-4-3 at home. This was a team that had only lost once at home this year early when New Mexico came town. That's when New Mexico United, another expansion side, was clicking on all cylinders. It's Las Vegas that really has to be excited about what they saw this last weekend against Fresno. Now, of course, they fell behind early, but they wound up sailing to a victory and toppling one of the top teams in the West, proving that the Lights can compete with anybody.
Yeah, huge victory for them confidence-wise, but just 1 win on the road this year. Today's a big opportunity for them as they're going to be looking to climb the table as well, currently 14th in the Western Conference standings.
As pushing forward here, ball into the 18, nothing more will come of it, as it'll simply be a goal kick. Eric Wynaldo will have to wait a little bit longer for that first corner for his Las Vegas club. Okay, we take a look at the keys to the matchup for both sides.
Well, for Austin, it's about goals, not shots. You mentioned all the crosses. They had 50 crosses in the box the last 2 games combined. They have been putting a ton of shots, but few of them in the back of the net, and it is now or never. They have to get the full 3 points today. A draw will not do it. And for the visitors, they can be the spoiler. They can possibly knock Austin out of the playoff race. And a Road Warriors, for a team that has won just once on the road this season, today is the day to change that.
Austin just 2 wins dating back to mid-August against Tulsa and RGV FC. Both of those were here at home. They will hit the road soon here against the Timbers 2, the Real Monarchs, El Paso, and Tacoma. As a friendly tap back for the Lights off the boot of Torrey.
And for Austin, a bit concerning. As good as they have been at home this entire season, the last 2 times here, 2 losses. Can they bounce back tonight? Starting to see some of those heavy legs affecting this team latter stages of the season.
They're going to call Okugo for this spell. He may have gotten the worst of the exchange.
Moby Okugo, the Sacramento native, former UCLA Bruin, down on the pitch and now back on his feet.
There is the man who probably could do our jobs as well as coach at the same time. A great soccer resume, whether it's on the pitch or in the studio.
Yeah, 3-time World Cup veteran, announced back as the Lights manager and technical director back in October of 2018, and they are very happy to have his services. As you mentioned, he's a great ambassador of this sport, a fantastic player for the U.S. men's national team for so many years, and now doing a great job, not just as a pundit, but a coach as well.
A lot of big wins, and at some points, a lot of big hair. A little more conservative look these days. 3.5 minutes in, again. The numbers have been nice and balanced in the USL Championship this year, where everybody in the West gets to play a home and home. Same on the East. No overlap unless you happen to meet in the championship or in the U.S. Open Cup.
And right now, it looks like those top 3 teams in the Western Conference, Phoenix, Fresno, Reno, they may well be on their way to the playoffs. It's certainly that is the case for Phoenix. And then between 4 and 10, very tight, just 6 points separating those teams.
Phoenix had gone a few days without a win. Much needed yesterday.
Yeah, they are just so impressive. A goal differential of 51, plus 51 for Rising.
Brought back by Sandoval. Junior Sandoval out of Honduras.
Bold opponents have seen that the Bold traditionally like to commit a lot of numbers forward. They're vulnerable in the counter. This is a younger Vegas team. We'll see if they can take advantage.
As one of the Jamaicans for Austin, that being Jermaine Taylor intervening.
Yeah, what a job he's done this year. Over 100 caps for his national team. He's been the stalwart on that back line all year long.
Ball sent in, and Restrepo staring down a ball that'll take a couple of harmless hops his way.
Nicely done, Restrepo quickly off his line, able to claim it, a heavy touch, and had that ball been settled, they will have been able to put a difficult shot on the frame of Restrepo.
Moby just could not get everything behind it. Raffon. You talk about the resumes of so many of these Austin players in this inaugural campaign. General Manager Roberto Pinto de Silva and his head coach Marcelo Serrano went out and found some very accomplished individuals to come out, and it wasn't about building towards the future, it was about finding success here and now in 2019.
That's exactly right, Lincoln. They said, we want to compete. Their goal was to win 3 titles this year. They wanted the U.S. Open Cup. They fell in the 4th round to Houston. They went the furthest any Austin team ever had. They won the inaugural version of the Copa Tejas, and they're looking for a USL championship as well.
Luis Guardia, no stranger to being the man in the middle.
They've assembled a great roster, a lot of veteran talent. There was some talk in the preseason of would they be able to compete with all these veterans.
Opportunity coming from the wing. Looking for one last link up, trying to find Sosa. Instead it's Sandoval. And that one will just trickle inside the 18 to Chomasi.
And maybe a touch too many gave Austin the opportunity to get numbers back behind the ball.
Now the counter with the Brazilian Kluber.
Touch too many the other way. Kluber had his teammate Lima with him, but it'll be pulled back. Advantage had been played, so it will be a free kick won by Kluber in the Bold.
As he's matched up with Torre.
And you go back to it, Torre there. committed the foul, said the referee, and able to get through it was Kluber. He and Lima previously played together in their home country for Grêmio in Porto Alegre. Grew up in that Sao Paulo system before going over to Ukraine. Played for Dynamo Kiev for many years.
So Brafond and Baez hovering over this one. 7.5 minutes in. Bold trying to strike first here in the Texas heat. Brafond. Ball spills loose, but able to recover.
And looking for the youngster, Gustavo Risi. Just a bit too far in front of him. Gave Olsen the chance to come off his line to claim it.
Olsen, the Las Vegas native. Not everything that happens there stays there. Las Vegas in the white. Austin in black. Restrepo.
Two very good goalkeepers from both these sides. Diego Restrepo was the USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year just a few short years ago. And then you mentioned the Las Vegas native Thomas Olsen, 4th best in the USL Championship with 9 clean sheets.
Just 24 years young. Obviously a much younger roster for Vegas. Austin has one of the top 2 rosters when it comes to age, and probably the thickest staples required to hold their resumes together.
Hoping that'll pay dividends when they get to the playoffs, but they have to get there, and that is not a foregone conclusion at this point.
While Austin was sitting in 4th for all that time, you realized how tight that pack was, and unless you were Phoenix or Fresno or Reno, you could fall quickly if you weren't collecting 3 points on a nightly basis. And you could not just slip out of the right to host, but possibly out of the postseason altogether. Another look here at the foul.
Foul committed by Lima. Austin looking up at Sacramento. The Republic currently in 4th place. That's where Austin was when Sacramento came to town. Those two teams have switched places pretty much in the table. Austin now in 7th. But those 2 losses here at home have made a massive difference from what would have been a first round of playoff match hosted here.
Republic on the road north of the Red River against the Energy right now. 10 minutes in. Right where we are in the middle of the 10th minute.
And that's who you want to see with the ball at his feet going forward. Sean McFarland, the young Jamaican, the right back. So good, just talented, great touch, incredible speed. Wins the free kick. He missed a few matches due to illness. Now back in the starting 11, and Austin is going to need him to show up in a big-time way.
You briefly saw Victor Rojas and other lights in that clip. McFarland, when he slips into gear, he can burn just about anybody.
He can. He's just an incredible athlete. His countryman, Jermaine Taylor, has taken him under his wing. He's gotten better each and every match this year. Highest work rates of anyone on the Austin team.
Austin opting to pressure this back line, hoping for a miscue. And a whistle will buy Moby some breathing room.
But I like this from Austin. You want to see more of their forwards getting into the act defensively when they lose possession, trying to win it back. Mentioned Imatu Amasi, man originally from Ghana. He brings speed up front along with the talent, the veterans, Kluber and Andre Lima. Ian McFarland, the 2 fastest on the pitch for the black and teal.
Raffine sends it back the other way to Lima. And a toss coming up for Austin.
Mentioned resumes. Brafide, who played in that 2010 World Cup final for the Netherlands, came on as a substitute in that loss to Spain. Played for clubs like Celtic, Bayern Munich. Austin didn't have his services the first few months of the year. He was dealing with visa issues. But he's been in the starting 11 ever since.
From the wing, ball sent in. Opportunity, but the lights get just enough of a deflection to send it back out. Not in the clear just yet. Jamasi has a couple of dance partners. Brafon, his service. They would love to have that to do again with that target forward up front in Andre Lima.
That's where Lima's so good, and you know Las Vegas is going to keep a man on him. Jabin Toure that time, not letting him get an inch of space, and rightfully so. Mentioned all the crosses Austin has had in the last 2 games, but they've only amounted to 2 goals.
Again, Las Vegas had secured just 2 points in their 4 matches prior to that victory at home against Fresno. But what a win that is here for the home stretch, a confidence boost right before you go on the road against a team that is ahead of you here in the Western Conference. And I think the Lights feel like 3 points are within reach today.
Without a doubt. And Eric Winalda said as much earlier this week. He said, look, it's about going into the playoffs on a hot streak, and those are the teams that ultimately have a chance to win the trophy, the championship. Obviously, I mean, Phoenix, you mentioned the teams on a hot streak, hard to get where the Rising are, but Las Vegas has to be very pleased with what they've seen these last few matches.
Joe Mossi again, one of the 2 men on loan from FC Dallas this year, into Kluber. Kluber trying to win a corner, instead lands back on it. Up top, and Sarah Mooten denied. They keep chipping away, looking for Tuamasi on the back post.
Great ball in. Tuamasi there. Thought he was wide open. The defender coming at the last possible second to knock it out, conceding the corner. McFarland playing the distributor this time. Just inches off.
Finds the noggin affair. Corner kick for the Bold. So here's Austin knocking again in the 14th minute with Javi Baez to deliver.
Want me to try again after this corner?
And just too strong from the man who spent about 200 matches in Mexico with some good ones. The counter. And there is the first opportunity to mention Gustavo Risi here. On loan from Brazil. Made a big impact in that 70th minute against Colorado Springs with his first goal in a Bold uniform in his first start. Now his first start since then. And good to see Tabor able to get up.
Yeah, Risi, incredibly impressive young player, great size, moves well. Mentioned came from Cruzeiro, one of the biggest teams in Brazil. Austin using those Brazilian connections that their head coach Marcelo Serrano and their general manager Roberto Pinto da Silva have. Risi's a player that Austin fans have wanted to see more of. One of those new breed of defenders. As dangerous on the offensive end as he is defensively.
Ball centered to Torres. Oh, would have been a beautiful ball to send through, but the Bold back line not faltering.
And what a job. Sean McFarland read it perfectly and able to pick off that pass. Tried to thread the needle.
Lights having to regroup. Take the opportunity to remind you that Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. Many of the finest leagues around the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, you can visit selectsportamerica.com. That Select ball right now being sent along the back line of the Lights.
I like what I'm seeing from Austin, working harder to get the ball back when they don't have it. Everybody on the pitch, all 10 field players, the guys up top in the midfield, obviously your defenders. Austin moving the ball a bit quicker. All the shots they had the last 2 games, sometimes they would let the defense get back, and if you had 8 or 9 guys in the 18, almost impossible to get a shot off with that many bodies between you and the goal.
And these two teams played to a draw in that first ever matchup as Austin began the season on the road. As this venue is being completed, it was worth the wait that opening night when San Antonio came to town, and the Bold accomplished a lot of things that night. Fantastic crowd, great atmosphere, a victory, as well as some critical points to kick off their Copa Tejas tour.
Yeah, that scoreless draw back on March the 9th at Cashman Field, Las Vegas. Weather a little cooler back then.
Ball sent through, nobody to play with. You'll recall that night, the Lights had guaranteed a victory against Austin Otherwise, they were going to provide a free game ticket to those in attendance. It turned out to be a draw. Technically not a win.
They still gave away free game tickets, though. So hats off to them. Classy move.
They've had some pretty interesting promotions since then as well. Lights already warming up here on this Sunday evening. You see the long shadows. Send one to the top of the area, but Braffide will refuse it. Kluber.
Heat and humidity so many times this year. It has made for a big home field advantage for Austin. That won't be the case against the Las Vegas team, used to these conditions. Maybe not the humidity, but certainly the heat.
Joe Mossy may have been looking for a little touch and go with Kluber there. Throughout his career, Kluber has perfected being a minimalist at times with how he alters the course of a ball.
He may have lost a step, but the touch is there. He has not lost any of that. He does a great job. One of those guys who can just have a shoulder feint one way, sends the defender off the ball. He and Andre Lima need very little room to execute.
Sandoval on this back line, not really looking to work just through the midfield. They're looking for opportunities over the top and have been frustrated so far that the Bold have been able to maintain their assignments.
Austin keeping shape defensively, particularly in the midfield. That's been an issue in the last two games and those losses to Sacramento and Reno, 18-68. Midfield doing a much better job staying on the same page early in this one.
They have numbers inside the 18. And Diego Restrepo and the Bold do just enough to hold them off.
Dangerous ball played in. Risi shows off his closing speed. He comes in, the young Brazilian, able to get there at the very end. Unable to get a touch, but when you have a goalkeeper the caliber of Diego Restrepo, he can bail you out of a lot of situations. I know Austin would not like to have him work maybe a little less than he has had to.
Risi ruled to have gotten there just in time. Otherwise, you might have been seeing a man staring down Restrepo from 12 yards away. Bold, to their credit, even when they were among the top four, they were still adding young talent for this final stretch.
And interesting with Risi in the lineup, we've always seen Sion McFarland as a defender. He's playing in the midfield, obviously more defensive midfielder, but that back line of Risi alongside Taylor. You can see Braffide and Okugo drop back at times.
Kluber will take a shot. He fires it home for a classic. Austin strikes first.
I told you how little room the Brazilian needs to put a shot on frame. Just a few inches, and that's all he had here. Kluber using that size, shaking off one would-be tackle still. And an absolute scorcher to the upper 90. Kluber holding off the tackler, kept Sandoval on his back. And a absolutely stunning strike to put Austin on top.
With apologies to all of Saturday's goal scorers in the USL Championship, I think we have our leader coming out of the clubhouse.
That is certainly the most impressive goal I've seen in the USL Championship this weekend. And that's one where nothing Thomas Olsen could do about that one. He may have gotten the slightest of touch to it, but a ball put in that space is always going to go in.
8th goal for Kluber in a Bold kit. Las Vegas, just as was the case against Fresno last weekend, falling behind in the first half. Of course, they liked the ending to that story with 3 unanswered. Lima looking for insurance. Lima's pulled down, they'll play on. An opportunity on the other end. Restrepo needs reinforcements. Far post equalizer is good. Las Vegas able to fire right back. And it's the youngster, Tabor.
My apologies.
Pardon me, no, that's Sosa.
Yeah, I thought it was Tabor. My apologies there. Sosa with the goal. And what a response, and that's exactly what you want to do. If you concede, you need to come back to find the equalizer as quickly as possible, and what a job. Less than 60 seconds after giving up the opener. Sosa, beautiful finish, low and hard to the far post, and a little extra in the celebration as well.
This equalizer comes even quicker than the one last week. They never got down after that first goal in Las Vegas.
And Lincoln, I was just about to say that Austin has had issues putting teams away. When they found the opener, it's been difficult for them to find that insurance goal. Rare that they've had a 2-goal advantage. And unable to do so here. So we are knotted again. Now 1-1, less than 60 seconds after Kluber's opener.
The 28-year-old able to level it. And it's back to work for the Bold. Several Bold players had stayed back to protest the lack of a call, and it cost them. Sion McFarland fighting for this one.
Not just a great job equalizing, but taking the crowd out of it. The fans here at Bold Stadium on their feet. Happy to see the home team with a lead, but very short-lived.
Lima and Chuamasi trying to link up. Sarah Moten trying to deny any kind of counter here, and that'll be a foul against Las Vegas. Larry Sarah Moten, 24-year-old, regularly a captain throughout the Russian youth system.
Played on those Russian U15, U17 national teams. Grew up in the Dynamo Moscow system.
What does Brafine have in mind? Had a pair of Brazilians in the area. So a pair of goals have injected a little more tempo into this one. Lima almost able to execute.
That was a good look. Chumasi had played the initial ball to Lima. He's trying to return it at the top of the 6, but Olsen quickly there. The one thing, Austin, they like to possess, particularly in their opponent's third, but that gives the Lights a lot of time to get back, to get numbers behind the ball. When you have that many people in such a small space, makes it difficult to find that through ball and the shot.
And Las Vegas now take its first lead of the day. Fair sends one across. As return to sender from Jermaine Taylor. Quirk and Austin's schedule, just because, again, here we are sharing real estate with the only F1 racetrack in all of North America, Circuit of the Americas, here in Turn 15. They weren't quite sure if they would be too much of a burden for the staff here if they had October matches right before the big race. They are confident moving forward that's not going to be an issue, beginning with the 2020 season. And, of course, if Austin were to find a way to host a match, either as one of the top seeds or perhaps as one of the bottom seeds to get in, for perhaps that play-in round, they would be ready to go.
This has been an absolute fortress this season. With the exception of the last 2 matches, only 2 losses here at home, but 2 losses their last 2 times out, and looking to rectify that today. Found the opener, but then Sosa coming back immediately. Give him a ton of credit. He just played a total of 82 minutes through the first 24 matches, but he's been a starter in 5 of the last 6. He finds the first goal for the Lights, and he will find the book, it appears. He will be the first man to go into the book.
So the yellow deemed to have clipped Graphite there instead of the ball. Graphite telling me it just takes me a little bit longer to get up these days. That's the only old joke I'm going to make for the 36-year-old and what I wouldn't give to be 36.
If you played in a World Cup final, I think that says it all right there. Represented the Netherlands, grew up in Suriname, moved to Amsterdam at the age of 7, played for FC Utrecht for many years in the Netherlands.
Well, the Lights have had a nice approach. It's rare that a single man can keep up with Kluber's clever movement, but when they throw 3 guys on him when he has the ball, it doesn't matter if he turns left, turns right, or goes straight ahead.
Lincoln, you're exactly right. And sometimes, Austin, the disconnect, and you see right now Kluber and Andre Lima having words. They're not pleased. But the two of them, they've been closely marked, and both goal scorers, they want to take the shot, but as you so rightly said, if there are 2 defenders and sometimes 3 draped on you, hard to put a shot on goal.
Kluber hoping to pounce on a miscue here. Diego Restrepo nodding your shot right now, but right now just trying to shield off that sun with one of those mitts. Level at 1. Lights unable to drive that one home for a lead. And Restrepo able to squeeze it in.
There is a man wide open right in front of Restrepo, but fortunately for Austin, the ball was hit a bit too tall, and Restrepo able to claim it. But Austin needs to be very careful. Vegas has looked the better of the 2 sides the last 10 minutes since finding the equalizer. The Lights, good combination play down both flanks. It's looking like they're going to find the next goal.
Fair call for that foul. We've seen some Las Vegas fans able to make the trip to Austin. And I have to imagine there's a few folks from Austin in Las Vegas right now.
There's a large contingent of Bold fans who made that first ever match on the road up there at Cashman Field.
Kluber trying to get the ball on his left boot. He slips it home. It's a brace for the Brazilian.
And the Gladiator clearly feeling it tonight. 2 shots, both with a lot of defensive pressure. He's been able to shrug off defenders. And this time he does a great job of waiting. Had he taken the shot initially, it would have been deflected, waited the extra second, and that was enough for him to be able to slide it through. You see it right there, that extra, and it took a deflection, nothing that Olsen could do, and he just saw it go right by him.
Yeah.
But the split second that made the difference, and it came off the back of the heel.
Torre.
Yeah, Javin Torre, and that is one that there's nothing you can do about it as a defender. It's one as a goalkeeper that you think you probably have covered, and I think Thomas Olsen did, had it not been for the deflection, but Austin will happily take it as they retake the lead.
You give Kluber the assist as well. Nobody has set up Kluber better than Kluber.
He would not argue.
Even if I had said it in Portuguese. So we do have a hydration break for player safety concern. Officially the goal ruled for Kluber as opposed to own goal, and a little over a half minute in. Well, if you're a fan of either side, have to be pleased. When Las Vegas went down, just like against Fresno, they didn't dwell on it. They answered. They'll have a chance to answer soon enough, but here are the Bold now. All too often they've seen leads disappear, but this time they strike back.
They do, and it's a great response from Austin. This is what you want to see. They've given up leads. They've let other teams back in matches, but to find the opener and then give up the equalizer less than 60 seconds later, a great response from Austin, but make no mistake about it, there's a lot of time left in this one, and Vegas will respond. Just a question of when.
a modest 95 degrees as we are just shy of 7 p.m. here in Austin, Texas. Those fans, they knew to invest in seats that were in the shade.
There's some great seats here. Pretty much every seat a great seat at Bold Stadium.
The guy next to me never stops talking. Can't complain. The captain with goals number 8 and 9 on the year. What a start he had, leading goal scorer through the first 4 goals he recorded, including the first ever against Reno in that opening month of March.
Earlier in the season, Kluber was the leader offensively, and then his countryman Andre Lima, he got fully fit and went on an absolute tear in June and July, early August. Good to see Kluber getting back in the scoring column.
Lights did not trail long earlier this half. And they find an equalizer for a second go-around. Just trying to lull that defense of Austin to sleep. Fair. Can't get this one past Braffon.
Yeah, poor ball, had a man moving to open space, but just not enough on it. And there's a definite speed advantage for the Lights. A ball like that, send it into the corner. Put it further than you think, because your players in general, they've got the wheels to get to it.
All eyes were on Kluber until he finally relinquished that one. Want to remind you, with just weeks remaining, pressure officially on. Tune in to ESPN3 on October 2nd. El Paso Locomotive look to secure one of the final playoff spots, while Fresno FC has its sights set on hosting some playoff games. It's Locomotive FC and the Foxes, again, October 2nd for Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3. The Bold still with one more match against the men from El Paso. First ever trip over there to that modified AAA ballpark. Home of the Chihuahuas. Olsen has seen 2 get past him today. One in that upper right corner you're looking at, and another one that almost in slow motion just decided to pass his threshold.
And neither goal, Thomas Olsen, there was nothing he could have done about on either one. The first one just put on a dime, the upper 90, a great strike from Kluber, and the second one came off the heel of a defender. And as a goalkeeper, he's done his job, but that is extremely frustrating. You give up 2 goals. No fault to number 1 there in pink on either.
Kluber with Lights defenders giving chase, including Christian Torres. Okugo had his first 2 goals and only 2 goals in that brace against New Mexico at New Mexico in the return matchup.
Kluber, when he had that ball initially, had Amos Humasi making a run down that center spine, and had he played him into space, there may have been a chance for Austin, but as he elected to go back with it, it gave Las Vegas time to get back defensively and regroup.
The umbrella went in front of it.
Already a hydration break here in this first half. In Texas, it's an intimidation move if you can pull off wearing all black in a sporting event. Even with the breathable technology of these kits. Kluber.
Everyone for Las Vegas behind the ball right now. Very little room for Austin, no passing lanes. They're just having to exchange possession between the midfield and defense. The forwards well marked.
A reminder, you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN through the 2022 season. USL is excited to announce the championship in League One. Both will remain with the leader in sports for at least 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 matches on ESPN Deportes. You can continue to follow, support, and watch your clubs on ESPN and ESPN Plus. I was sure that as long as that read is, that Austin would have finally decided to make a run.
Content to maintain possession, and they have been all season long. Sometimes it's been to their benefit, but as often it has been to their detriment as they've just not been able to get anything, letting the opponent's defense get set. And this is, well, an optimistic attempt at best.
That's $2 for Andre Lima. An impromptu hydration break.
All kidding aside there, Austin maintaining possession for about 2.5 minutes, but could do absolutely nothing with it. Lima forced to take this shot, which just tails wide. And if that was what he was aiming for, hats off, but I have a feeling it probably wasn't.
That ball is still in denial. Looking to level it for a second time today. Remember, Austin gave up that earlier goal to level it at 1 when they were still hoping and pleading for a whistle. Have not conceded another equalizer. Chuamasi inside the 18. Lights gets numbers back. And Lima was trying to return the favor to the youngster, and now will recover.
Yeah, great work there from Lima, able to win it back. It was Amobia Kugo who threaded the first through ball.
Players available off the bench for Austin tonight include the locals Chris Tierpak and Sonny Guadarrama.
Big final few minutes of this first half for both sides. Austin working for that insurance goal. Who would love to go into half with the 2-goal lead. We've seen how quickly the Lights can strike back. Can they find a way to equalize before the halftime whistle?
The 2 goals for the men in the black, gold, and teal. Kluber with his 8th and 9th on the campaign. Meanwhile, Sosa, the lone goal for Las Vegas. And Sarah Mooten will be calling for the foul here.
Sarah Mooten, fortunate he didn't end up in the book there. A lot of contact. He was clearly behind the man when the foul was committed. Only seen 1 yellow. That was to the Lights. Sosa picked up the lone caution thus far.
41st minute underway here in this opening half. Lincoln Rose, Kip McConico, Ali Trost with you. The rematch of the season opener. That one yielded no goals.
Do you want me to
3 so far today.
We don't have 4.
If you're going to push up one side of the pitch, why not just stay in the shade?
And Austin electing to keep a high line defensively.
Restrepo battling the sun, battling the lights. The frame is open, and Restrepo still able to send it wide.
What a missed opportunity. Sosa, he already has 1 goal, and he had a chance to level it. Restrepo was down at the edge of the 6th, the collision. You see Restrepo not in the picture. 2 men there, but Sosa just unable to put it on goal. A huge opportunity missed for the visitors.
And they award the ball to Austin. Again, Diego, halftime can't get here soon enough as that sun has been staring right at him. This is not your standard north-south venue. Austin has chosen most of its start times this year to be around 7:30, where that sun would have been retired by halftime. Not the case tonight.
I think that sun played a factor with Restrepo coming off his line, not being able to get to it. The initial cross. Then a ball right to Sosa, top of the box.
I mean, if he doesn't mind the delay, he'd be better off just getting a tablet and watching what's happening using the app. His feet are in the shadows, but that sun's been right in his eyes. Still able to get enough of that ball last time. Fair. 2 minutes remaining in the scheduled 45. We'll see if any stoppage time is added.
I think you're right at this point. Austin just like to get out of this first half, maintaining their 2-1 advantage.
Martinez. And this will stay with Las Vegas. Again, the captain's armband on the bicep, Brian De La Fuente. And out of Bell, California. So many of these players out of the Golden State. Of course, a rich history there for Eric Wynalda as the manager. One of the big upsets in the U.S. Open Cup.
Maybe the biggest upset in the U.S. Open Cup. What a game that was.
He brought a lot of those men across country to Atlanta when he took over the now defunct North American Soccer League Atlanta Silverbacks. But wanted to use them as part of the core that he was able to build around. Final 30 seconds in the scheduled 45.
Right now, pretty clear that Austin content just to take time off, and handball there will give the Austin a chance to take even more time off the clock.
And, well, you were probably able to hear the admonishment to Junior Sandoval. I've told you once, I've told you twice, I've now told you 3 times, and that means we're going to the card.
Nothing good ever comes from speaking to an official. It doesn't matter if you're complimenting the official. Best just to say nothing at all, and Sandoval picked up the yellow for dissent. He was given numerous opportunities, but continued to voice his opinion.
I gave the English translation. There was a 1, 2, 3 thrown around in there.
I think it was 23.
You see the no fewer of 3 minutes. Chumasi has Lima out wide. Andre Lima. Flag is up, offside. Lima had all the real estate he needed and still winds up on the wrong side of that back line.
Andre Lima has to do better in that situation. And Chumasi, that is where he shines brightest. Ball at his boots, going right at defenders. Incredible speed, good size, making things happen. All Lima had to do was stay on side. Chumasi was going to find him when that second defender came his way. Lima just a step off, and all of that work amounts to nothing.
Sandoval, the second Las Vegas player to enter the book today.
Chumasi having a good first half, as is Amobia Kugo, putting in a lot of good work in the midfield from the Sacramento, California native.
Able to turn, still on the ball. As Tabor sent one in to the heart of the penalty area. Lima comes back to get this one. That is a man who wants to find the back of the net before halftime. Flag stays down for Chuamasi. Lima, first step to his advantage. Almost another beverage down.
And he did it all. You see the reaction from the man from Ghana. Everything except for the shot. Track the ball down in bounds, cut it back by 2 defenders. Just not a shot on target.
Can Las Vegas put one more run together before these two teams retreat back to the locker room? A little pirouette for Christian Torres as he makes his way up the pitch. Final seconds here. Las Vegas found one equalizer this half, but then Kluber struck again. And there's your whistle. First half in the books. Austin Bold trying to right the ship while they're still above that playoff line in the West. Right now in the driver's seat, midway through, up 2-1 against a hungry side from Las Vegas. It's halftime here in the state capitol.
Everyone gets a free pretzel from Easy Tiger. So that means we need you to continue being loud for the second half.
And North Carolina, if you're just joining us, we have witnessed an unbelievably well-fought match tonight. It has come down to penalties. Julius set for Yale, taking the first approach. Oh! Spectacular! North Carolina's goalkeeper Richard just let one in past him now. So now the burden rests on Yale's Scott Sterling. Here he comes, nerves of steel, that man, dealing with more pressure now than a submarine. Indeed. Crowd showing some appreciation. Johnson places the ball on the spot, getting ready. That man literally has a cannon for a load. Here he goes, winding up for the shot, and oh! The cannon has fired and hit Sterling directly to the face. He clocks that in a stunning 116 kilometers per hour. Now that's a lot of miles per hour. Little chance that man's nose is not broken right now. Oh, indeed. Now, Sterling getting checked out for that one. Spectacular save, though, but sadly, he's not out of the woods yet. On his feet now, bit shaken, but not third. This crowd absolutely loves this man. And Sterling's teammates welcome him back a hero. Now, he yells up again for the second attempt, looking to make it 2-0. He approaches the ball with some determination. Here he goes. Oh! Italian ride, way off target. Yes, apparently he thought he was kicking a field goal. Wrong kind of football, I'd say. Good show. Back now to Scott Sterling. He looks a bit worse for wear, but ready for round 2. And Shaw takes a moment. Here he goes with the approach. Oh! Sterling with the fantastic dive. The ball flies straight through his hands, and once again strikes him straight in the...
This match is brought to you by Ascension Seton, the official medical provider and sports medicine partner of your Austin Bold. By Courtyard by Marriott. Step up your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by HEB, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than HEB. 3 goals in the first half, 2 of them in favor of the home side. Austin Bold lead midway through 2-1 here at Bold Stadium.
And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Del Seton Medical Center at the University of Texas for a very exciting announcement this morning, to where we're announcing that Ascension Seton is both the title sponsor and the medical provider for the new Austin Bold here in Texas. So we're very excited for that. So when the players, athletes, or families need care, we're going to be there and have the people available for you on the field. And you can rest assured that Ascension Seton and our affiliated physicians will be ready to serve. And so with that, I'd like to welcome up to the stage the owner of our new soccer team, the Austin Bold, Bobby Epstein.
You know, I was trying to think of a lot of the similarities, and there are a lot of similarities between Ascension Seton and the work they do, and the Austin Bold and the work we try and do. With all the giving you do, we want to be meaningful too. And for that, and to show our commitment to this community, the Bold are going to give 5% of all their ticket sales to Dell Children's Hospital.
Let's go with the left point, Jamal Johnson.
Puts it in. What a goal! Perfectly placed. With one touch to settle, and now it's five to the top of the net. Flag stays down, and Indy 11 has a one.
Ball struck towards the 18, headed on, and headed home.
Inside glancing header, and he caps it off with the goal of the night.
I think they want dangerous play call.
That one served in the back of the net. Fresno out of nowhere.
Milton serves it into the back post. It's off the woodwork, and it's in.
That's in the back of the net. Another cross into the corner, and Hubbard does even better. Moberg's gonna take a shot on goal with a cross and a fantastic save.
Good shot for Blackwood. Nice play by Van Oakland
To force him to give the ball up. Illich saved.
League One. He's got an opportunity for another. Curls and scores! Oh, Seguro! Moshobani again. Back heel, Moshobani! He did it again!
Whips it in, finds the back post. Oh, what a finish. Arturo Rodriguez. Through ball though. Demas the other way. Demas saved by Hara.
In the middle, still Jaden Nelson. His shot, it's saved again by Giuliano Chache.
Wide open. Fitzgerald covering the mark. Still Rodriguez and stopped by Fitzgerald.
Tonight's match is brought to you by Dell Children's Ascension, the official charity partner of Austin Bold FC. By Courtyard by Marriott, step up your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by H-E-B, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than H-E-B. Two to one, still our score. Austin Bold up a goal. Both teams back in the locker room, and Kit, for the longest time, the Bold, whether it was win or lose, they were picking up 3 points frequently enough. They were staying above that line that you don't see at the moment, but they were in the top four. Right now, that belongs to OC, with Sacramento Republic and Real Monarchs both finding their way ahead of the Austin Bold. Some of them have a game in hand still to go. Bold sitting in 7th right now, but you look at the difference, how tight it is, especially from 5 all the way down to 10. Of course, Las Vegas just on the outside looking in.
Yeah, Las Vegas are currently in 14th in the standings, 35 points. And they're certainly well in the mix. Austin, having lost the last 2 here at home, they're in a position where they have to win tonight. They need the full 3 points because, again, they're on the road the final 4 matches of the regular season where they have not had great success this year. And if they're going to stay in the top 10, I don't know if they're going to find their way back into the top 4, but to stay in playoff contention, they need 3 tonight.
It's an Austin side that, for the most part, it's been wins and losses, didn't settle for many draws, so they were capturing 3 points frequently enough. You see some of the scores around the league, including north of us, still scoreless at the midway break between Energy and Republican, their final clash of the regular season. Tulsa, right now, not being too friendly of hosts to Orange County. RGV starting to click yesterday with that final, as you see the rest of the scoreboard with some interesting matchups along the way. And yes, yesterday it happened. Phoenix, will they ever win again? As they've already locked up a spot out of the West. Will they be able to lock up home field advantage? Likely soon enough. Fireworks, well, we saw some in the first half in terms of goals, but the fans were guaranteed there'd be fireworks after the match regardless of the outcome. Look forward to that. Of course, for the Bold, they're trying to make that push towards the postseason in this, their inaugural campaign.
They are. They want to be in the postseason. They want a chance. They think they have a squad built for the postseason. All these veterans, the great experience they have, but they have to get into the postseason. They can't worry about the final 4 matches. They need to worry about tonight. Final 45 minutes, they need to secure this victory.
And of course, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform earlier this year, the USL Academy, with the tryouts pending. There's going to be a lot of doors opening for individuals to make that next step in their soccer career. Austin trying to take its next step in locking up a berth into the postseason. Halftime continues.
Fans, get on your feet and get ready for the T-shirt toss. Brought to you by HEB. The HEB Buckets and Boy Scouts will be tossing shirts and towels into the crowd, so get on your feet and make some noise.
Midway through this one, Austin Bold saw a lead evaporate, only to answer by reclaiming a lead. 2 goals in that first half from the Brazilian Kluber, sitting on 9 now for the campaign. Take a look at the first half highlights, and again, Kit, it was Kluber early.
Oh, Kluber in emphatic fashion, shaking off would-be tacklers, and what a finish. Olsen even got a fingertip to it, but the upper 90, no way he was going to keep it out. Austin with a 1-0 lead.
Well, if you blinked, all of a sudden it was 1-1 because Sosa for Las Vegas would be able to answer.
Austin caught napping the other way, 60 seconds, less than 60 seconds later. The finish, and what a celebration, knotted it at 1-1. But Austin was able to come back and give them credit. A lot of times this year, Austin, when they've given up goals, they have not been able to come back. They do here, and again, Kluber. It came off the heel of Jamin Toure, unlucky. And it put Austin on top 2-1 where we stand at halftime.
Yeah, you feel for Olsen back in goal. He had that lined up for a stop, ultimately sent it wide. What you didn't see among the highlights was a spilt drink, as Austin did miss at least 1 shot in the general direction of that frame. Take a look at the numbers. What stands out to you?
Shots on target, just 1 for Las Vegas. And for Austin, I mean, the possession, it's where they want to be. They traditionally have more possession than their opponents. Not something Las Vegas necessarily needs to worry about, but just 3 shots and 1 on target, that is not going to cut it.
Take a look at what is on the horizon for these 2 teams. This trip to Colorado for Las Vegas, and then they will welcome to town San Antonio and Reno. Then off to that other expansion side in New Mexico. course, this is all after that big win over Fresno. Meanwhile, for the Bold, at Portland, at Real Monarchs, and I'll tell you right now, that is at El Paso and at Tacoma as well if we had room for it. Bold are playing their final home match of the regular season right here, right now. Take a look at some of the nuggets from around the league. As before we get started for the second half, again, some of the highlights that have been starting to garner some headlines. What has your attention?
Phoenix 20-game win streak finally put to an end by Fresno. Phoenix, well, they are beatable. Fresno proved that, but Phoenix already into the playoffs, so I don't think they're too worried about that one.
Phoenix was the first lockup in the West, and of course, more teams in the East starting to punch their ticket into the USL Championship Cup playoffs as well. And I know a lot of excitement in Charlotte as they begin to build a true home over there.
That's going to be fantastic. Soccer in the Queen City. Construction on that stadium having to be begun.
What a difference taking a break for halftime makes. That sun is almost completely down for the start of the second half. Again, Lincoln Rose, Kip McConico with you, and a chance to check back in with Allie Trost. Allie?
Thanks, guys. Got a chance to catch up with both coaches at halftime, and both actually took some time to say hey to one another. And Eric Winaldo was joking with Bold head coach Marcelo Serrano after Kluber's brace in that first half. He said, you can't keep calling this guy clever. You need to start calling him clever after the way he was able to break down the Lights defense and find some creative opportunities to get the ball in the back of the net. Therefore, tonight, for the rest of this second half, Winaldo said that this team really needs to focus on taking care of the ball, not let this game get ahead to 3-1, need to make it a 2-2 game, and not let Kluber have any more luck out there.
Allie, thank you very much. Is there still time for us to work that in? We'll stick with Kluber for now.
Yeah, the Gladiator, impressive first 45 minutes. Good size, able to shake off defenders, and all the focus has been on Andre Lima the last few weeks. Kluber, 2 opportunities, made no mistake on either. But for Las Vegas, a good first 45 minutes. Their response was there. They couldn't respond as quickly after conceding that second goal to Austin. We'll see how they come out here to start the second.
A lot of respect between these two managers. A couple of men with, nothing to prove, no chip on their shoulder, and they're welcome to embrace the moment, recognize the talent and the intellect of the opposing staff.
It's great to see the mutual respect. You have 2 coaches that have been successful. Winaldo obviously as a player, now as a coach. Marcelo Serrano in his native country, Brazil, and here in the States as well.
When your other gig is coaching the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's just tough to be displeased about much. There is the 39-year-old, all-time winningest coach in Austin Bold history. Looking for that 12th win. Well, Las Vegas was not able to answer that second goal from Kluber. Still time to do so here in the second half, as the Bold have not found insurance yet.
Better from the Lights, maintaining possession, forcing Austin to chase, not a position they like to be in.
Off the backside of Risi, the 21-year-old. Want to give, again, congratulations to one of the other newest members of the Bold, George Acosta, again, officially named that he will be a part of that first season in Miami in MLS with Inter Miami.
A Florida native who played in Argentina, now back stateside. He's a member of the U.S. U17 national team. Very talented young player. I'm sure he's happy to be at home.
Joined the Bold at the end of August and will be with them for the rest of the season. They hope that means October and possibly November. Yeah, reminder, this year the USL Championship postseason format expanded, so 2 additional teams from each side will get in. Instead of 8 teams, 10 teams. The thing is, there's a play-in round with some of the bottom teams, so you can still technically host in the postseason even if you're not a top 4 seed. You'd rather be among the top 4, but if you're going to play in one of those opening round matches, you just assume be at home. And fortunately for the Restrepo, nobody there to drive it home.
Austin, obviously, they would love to be in that top 4, love to be able to host a first-round playoff match here, but think for them, it's about going into the playoffs and getting into the playoffs, but then doing it on a hot streak, on a winning streak. You don't want to limp into the playoffs having lost some matches, not playing particularly great soccer.
Lights will give it right back. Well, we mentioned growing the game. Again, fans, the USL unveiled that elite youth program, the USL Academy, earlier this year. Allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, you can visit uslsoccer.com/academy. You know, the mere existence of the Austin Bold this year allowed some talented young soccer players from the Austin area to, rather than uproot their family and head to Dallas or other clubs, to really take the next step in their careers, to stay right here and not have to meet a brand new group of friends.
Yeah, it gave some young players, particularly Beto Avila and Julian Gaines. Gaines just 16 years old. His older brother plays professionally in Europe, and he thought about moving to Dallas and playing for FC Dallas or maybe on to Houston, but when the Bold came online, what a great opportunity this is for him to stay in his hometown and play professional soccer.
Reese able to help hold off Tabor.
USL, such an integral part of the growth of soccer, particularly young players getting opportunities.
McFarland will look to share the wealth here. A great creator. And literally for a moment there was running circles, but no place to go.
And no one for Austin.
Sends it in. Lima, insurance for Austin.
A huge mistake from Las Vegas. Sean McFarland. No one in the vicinity, had two defenders there dispossessed. And Austin finds the insurance goal via a Las Vegas mistake. And a player like Andre Lima, you could not give him this kind of chance. He will bury it. Take another look. And just too casual. McFarland, his speed, able to knock it away right to Lima, and Lima pulls the net off the hinges.
Sion was so disappointed in himself with the way it looked like that possession was going to end. He saw an opportunity to pounce back on that ball and pick up the assist.
Terrible mistake as a defender. That is one you cannot make. Send it out, concede the corner, do whatever you have to do. But if you were on the back line, if you were the final line of defense, you cannot be casual with the ball, or that is what will happen.
Number 11 for number 99. As Andre Lima able to strike, Eric Wijnaldum goes to his bench for the first time. And it is going to be Parra, hoping to be the super sub here in the second half. You and I talked about him, top of the broadcast. Parra, his first touch into the 18. And enough black shirts in the area to make sure that Restrepo did not have to intervene.
Parra immediately finds himself with it. Irving Raul Parra leads Las Vegas, 11 goals this year, also leads them in assists with 6. One of the only players in USL Championship to have that many goals and assists, and he is a difference maker. I thought he may come on at halftime, but after that goal, Eric Wijnaldum not waiting another second. He will take the place of Victor Rojas.
And we've seen Parra in recent years with Seattle and Orange County here in this league. Sarah Moon has Baez out wide. Could we have a pair of Brazilians with braces? Lima on that back post will be held off. It's going to be a corner kick here for the Bold.
Time to get long.
You saw Lima desperate for that first goal all of the first half. You thought now he's going to be satiated just because he's found the back of the net once. He's even hungrier.
He is. Yeah, you're exactly right about that. He and Kluber much the same. When they find one, the only thing they're thinking about is the second and maybe even the third.
Baez. Past 2 years in Liga MX. Again, close to 200 games with Chivas and Cruz Azul.
Won that CONCACAF Champions League back in 2014 with La Máquina Cementera, longtime Chivas man. One of the real unsung heroes of this team.
Lights able to hold off the Bold on that set piece as Olsen gets things started back up.
The Lights, they played across the back and through the back all season long, but just a poor decision there. And the speed of Sean McFarland is really what made it. He was quick to close down the ball.
Irvin Potter needs to be careful. This is going to be a foul on Austin.
Yeah, Risi charged with the foul.
And no, I misspoke. It's simply going to be a goal kick here on the Restrepo. Thought Parra came through a little recklessly through the back of Risi, and they are giving the ball simply to Austin.
Caught the left shoulder of the young Brazilian defender. And that's going to be a matchup. I expect those two to go at each other for the rest of this one. Parra and Risi, two similar players, both very talented.
That's the man who's provided some insurance with a little help from Sion McFarland for Austin. With that said, 2-goal leads have not been safe for the Bold here at home. And McFarland takes one, may have knocked the wind out of him. So another substitution coming up for Wijnaldum as Vermeer about to come on, the man from the Netherlands. The Dutch will be well represented now here in Austin, Texas.
Benny Vermeer coming on for Christian Torres.
Exiting the field,
2 quick changes, first 10 minutes of the second half for Las Vegas.
It wasn't a goal kick. It had already been played out.
I mentioned the Dutch well represented, of course, Edson Braafheid. Saw him in that 2010 World Cup in South Africa with the national team. Let's check back in with Ali.
Hey guys, just caught up with the coaching staff for the Las Vegas Lights on the decision to sub in Vinny Vermeer in that midfield spot, and I asked what the message was. They said it's pretty simple. Be all over that central midfield spot and make sure that Kluber Giamatti does not get the ball. They are trying to control him at all costs.
They're trying to control Kluber. They're trying to control that central midfield, as you heard Ali say, and that means Mobi Akugo, who's done a very good job. You've seen Braafheid at times. And really, I mean, those are the guys that have stepped up big tonight, including Javi Baez in that for Austin. The midfield has not done its job the last 2 matches, but tonight it certainly has for Austin.
You know, for the longest time, the only person who could interview Eric Wijnaldum was Eric Wijnaldum. I think there's at least one YouTube video floating around of his interviewing skills, able to really ask himself the hard-hitting questions.
He still does the best job.
Yeah. Somehow able to transition in and out of his suit. Aerosol cans come out. Opportunity here on the free kick. Or Christian Martinez and the Lights. Slightly larger hill to climb after Andre Lima gave the Bold some insurance. A little pre-designed effort here. De La Fuente never able to get a swing on it. Lima sends it out of touch.
That's exactly what you want to see if you're Austin. Lima back, defending. Always been so impressed with his heart, his work rate. A lot of forwards lose the ball, expect the midfield defense to win it and get it back to him, not Andre Lima.
Back into the area. And a quick whistle puts an end to this attack for the Lights.
Another man who's had an absolutely sensational game, Mobi Akugo, former Philadelphia Union player.
Yeah, Moby, those 7 years in MLS with the Union, as well as Orlando, Sporting KC, and Portland. Among 3 defenders Lima denied, point blank.
This attacking trident, Lima Chumasi alongside Kluber and Andre Lima, is a fantastic pairing. They play well together. Chumasi provides the speed. Lima good in the air and on set pieces, and well, pretty evident what you get from Kluber.
Just when you thought your drink was safe in the second to last row. Lights trying to pull back within one. Dvorak sends this one behind the frame. Dvorak Taka, again, the 21-year-old out of Cameroon.
One of the best nicknames of any player in the USL Championship. The Fresh Prince of Cameroon.
And the man who gave him that nickname?
That I do not know.
Okay.
That I do not know. But it's still a great nickname.
I'll be impressed if he knows how to do the Carlton. As, again, the captain taking a shot, it looked like right below the knee. And when one of the Bold players may have questioned the sincerity, he offered to show him perhaps the branding of that select ball on the kneecap.
Less than impressed, Eric Winalda.
His staff of Augie Rodriguez and Tommy Tate.
And it was good in the first few minutes of this second half from Las Vegas. Austin has been the better of the two sides in the last 10, 15 minutes or so. Those changes, Ramir and Barra not having the impact just quite yet.
And there was a yellow souvenir sent the way of Javi Baez. So the first Bold player now in the books. And you have imagined they're going to have a little bit closer eye on things. And they're not going to allow the quick restart.
It's starting to get much more physical. Both teams understand what's at stake. Both trying to climb the table. Austin, they want to secure their spot in the top 10. Right now, Las Vegas on the outside looking in 14th.
Opportunity here on the free kick for Las Vegas. Last week, they were on the other side of a 3-1 score line for the win as Los Luces. Martinez, the 22-year-old from Panama, shifts it to his left. Sarah Mooten will get the lone touch on behalf of the Bold. Little over an hour complete in this rematch from the season opener in Las Vegas. Sent through from Potter, who comes in here in the second half. Potter around McFarland, sends it in. Chumasi in space. Austin's going to have to reset. Lima was hoping to initiate something.
Well defended. See that combination between Lima, Kluber, and Chumasi, and a free kick won. Larry Sarah Mooten wins the free kick for Austin.
Yeah, this won't be a dangerous area, but the moment Sarah Mooten felt contact, he goes down. Yep.
Just enough. Sarah Mooten, the defender, on his back. Free kick taken quickly.
Para is determined to be included in multiple paragraphs of the game story by the end of the night.
As well he should be. An impact player.
No room for error.
If Las Vegas finds a way to get back into this one, you have to imagine that number 11, Irving Parra, is going to play a part. Has the fresh legs after not playing in the first half. Austin yet to make a change, and you wonder when that first substitution will come for the home side.
Knights with just one substitution remaining. Again, just weeks remaining. Pressure officially on now. You can tune into ESPN3 on October 2nd as El Paso Locomotive look to secure one of the final playoff spots in the West, while Fresno FC has its sights set on hosting some playoff games. It's Locomotive FC and the Foxes, October 2nd. That'll be Wednesday night soccer on ESPN3. So the Locos and Los Zorros. Simply this half of the league has been so fun to follow. Lima sends that one down, and that is one of the easier balls to handle this evening for Olsen.
A rare miss hit from Andre Lima. Did everything, had the defender on his back, just couldn't get the contact he wanted. Just the second start of the season for Gustavo Hissi, Brazilian on loan from Cruzeiro, and cannot say enough about what he's done. A few miscues, he's had miscommunication, maybe not the pass his teammates have wanted, but all in all, great outing.
Have to imagine most of the Austin Bold mentions on social media right now are in Portuguese. A Brazilian brace, the first two from Kluber, Lima with the third. Olsen tips it to himself. Thomas Olsen, the only man you can see from space right now. Hard to hang any of those three goals on him.
And without a doubt, particularly those ones in the first half, and then the one here in the second, the insurance goal. Just a poor decision. Sion McFarland able to close down the defender. Ball deflected right to Andre Lima, and that is just quite simply too easy for number 99.
A foot race. Reese comes on in support for Sarah Mooten. And Reese is not intimidated.
He played for Cruzeiro in Brazil. I've said it, one of the biggest teams in one of the best leagues in the world. He's played against top talent. He's done it from a young age. There are very few players that are going to get the better of the new addition for Austin.
You can move your hips all you want. He's got his eyes on that ball. Can Las Vegas capitalize on the corner? And I think only one man in white knew that that ball was being sent in.
And for Austin, we talked about it in the open. Ali mentioned this, all the corners they've had in the last few matches, and that was something that Herrick Winalda wanted to keep an eye on. Only 2 in this match. Very few set-piece opportunities. Chances have come via the run of play, and Austin is happy that's the case.
Well, I mentioned earlier some of the subs available for the Bold, and head coach Marcelo Serrano. I, of course, went with some of the fan favorites in Guadarrama and Tierpack, but obviously, if you're a Bold fan, you would rather not see them. You'd rather see defensive subs come on, meaning Austin protecting a lead late.
Yeah, that means guys like Soto coming off the bench, maybe Tomate Villardi. We have a Tua Hene who can play in the midfield, also can play up front.
We talk about Sion McFarland every day he's out there on that pitch. As valuable as he is defensively and pushing forward, so creative, and of course, set up that third goal tonight for Austin.
He's a guy I guarantee you MLS clubs have an eye on. I would be very surprised if he did not get at least a few looks this offseason.
Already, we do see Chris Tierpack come on, as that'll be a change up top, straight up. One offensive-minded individual for another.
Speed for speed as Tierpak will come on for Chumasi, and Chumasi, it's going to be, will be Chumasi. Brafide will be taking the corner. Chumasi, a fantastic outing. Great work, 69 minutes, did everything asked of him. Tierpak will be tasked with this final 20 minutes or so of being the speed on the front line for Austin.
Chris Tierpak trying to get back to that postseason where he was so brilliant for the Swope Park Rangers in their run of years back. Sent in. Olsen taps it out, can't secure it. Para. All the way to flip the pitch. And flag does go up.
Great vision from Para. Switching things to the top side, everyone congregated in the center and to the near side. And ultimately, nothing coming of it.
Your attention, please. Substitution.
Diego Restrepo only missing 4 matches this year, back in frame, and final change made for Eric Wijnaldum.
Number 24, Jose Villarreal.
As Villarreal will come on in place of Martinez.
2 early substitutions in the second half. Now the final, Jose Villarreal. Just about 20 minutes remaining.
15th appearance this year for the Inglewood, California native. Had a homegrown player contract with the LA Galaxy. That was 8 years back when he would go on to make his MLS debut at age 17.
Your attention, please.
Of course, would see time with Liga MX on loan as well. And, well, he missed the start of the season, was a critical part of the Bold success throughout the summer, and Josue Soto is going to come back on.
Soto will be in the defensive midfield, taking the place of Edson Brafide. Great to see Soto back on the pitch. He's dealt with so much, the injuries and trying to get back to full fitness.
He's on loan, of course, this year.
Came up from Gallos Blancos and Querétaro there, Liga MX. Been a difficult year for Soto.
Played his college ball for Cal Baptist when they were D2. De La Fuente out one. It was 2-1 at the half. Bold with the lone goal here in the second. Tierpak leading the charge. And that's what happens when your legs are 45 minutes fresher, at least, if not a full hour, than everybody else out there.
A little adrenaline coursing through the veins of the Dripping Springs native. Mentioned one of the local heroes, a fan favorite. Great representative of soccer here in the capital city.
Of course, he led the former PDL side, Austin Aztecs, to a national championship. He would then find his way to MLS with Chivas USA, come back to his hometown of Austin for that first year when the Aztecs were a pro side at the Division III level. Stints with San Antonio FC and San Antonio Scorpions. Last year, time in Nashville as well as Miami FC, leading Miami to that title. And a corner kick coming up. Well, how big is that Andre Lima goal at the moment? Austin has a little room for error.
What a difference that error made. Completely changed the complexion of this match. What was a 2-1 Austin lead and very tight. All of a sudden, Austin breathing room, something they've not had at all.
Borataka keeps it low. Well, Las Vegas, we mentioned last weekend, fell behind early, quickly found the equalizer. They would go on to find 2 more, even with that fog or smoke hovering around the pitch. Flag is up. They found the equalizer, but it would be Austin that would then immediately bounce back, not get down on themselves, and they've rattled off the last 2 now.
And that was the difference in this Austin side, at least thus far in the match, that when they did allow Las Vegas to come back to tie things at 1, that Austin was able to respond. There have been many matches where that has not been the case, that has taken them out of a game when an opponent has come back to equalize quickly or to take the lead. But Austin showed some tenacity. They showed grit. They retook that lead. They went into half with a 2-1 advantage, and Andre Lima extended it.
So much of that, the 36-year-old Kluber seems immune to a team getting hot or cold. Streaky one way or the other. Anytime that ball is at his feet, regardless of the score, he's looking to go to work. Ball sent in, McFarland looking for Tierpak.
Goal scorers are born, not made, and Andre Lima and Kluber, prime examples of that.
Substitution of the 76th minute.
Final change for Austin as Sonny Guadarrama will come on.
Austin brings on the other local product, a local hero, Sonny Guadarrama, Sonny G, longtime Liga MX man, played for Santos Laguna and Torreon, and then for the Dorados of Sinaloa. He will take the place of another former Liga MX star in Javi Baez.
Not just that, but they're going to stop the whole game for Sonny here. I'm told refreshments for everybody. As he'll step on the pitch soon enough. It is the final hydration break for both sides. Sonny Guadarrama will be the final change available for the Austin Bold. They're in the midfield. They lead 3-1 here in the second half, and yeah, no reason to save that water for later. Again, fans are reminded of the announcement earlier this summer, the good news that you can continue to enjoy the USL on ESPN throughout the 2022 season. USL excited to announce that the championship and League One will remain with the leader in sports for at least 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and again, at least 19 matches a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 matches on ESPN Deportes. You can continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN Plus. That sun has retired on this Sunday evening. We'll see it again tomorrow. As still a struggle between Sacramento and the Energy. Austin would welcome that.
Just about to say, if they're able to hold on, that would be fantastic if that remains a draw, or maybe Oklahoma City's able to come up with a point. Who knows?
As hard as it is for any Texas side to root for those land thieves up there in Oklahoma, the Bold are willing to make an exception.
At this point, I think they have to.
Kluber has the first 2 goals right now, on pace for the game winner. If Las Vegas does not find the back of the net again.
Las Vegas just a bit of disconnect here in the last 20 minutes, even with the addition of Ervin Parra and some talented players like Vermeer, Villarreal. Not looking nearly as dangerous as they did in the first half.
Torre. Marcelo Serrano's Bold, pushing this one upfield. Trying to find that 4th goal. A foot race. McFarland. Sonny Guadarrama just checked in. As this attack finally be brought to an end. Let's check back in with Allie down on the pitch.
Thanks, Lincoln. I caught up with head coach Marcelo Serrano of the Bold at the water break, and he said the main message to his team right now is to play man-to-man coverage defensively. He said they're playing with two number 9s up top, which is allowing some slots, and he said the counterattack is on right now, and they've got to be ready for it.
You saw him give some appreciation to Javi Baez, for whom Sonny Guadarrama came on during that hydration break. Baez, another guy who really helped this season get started on a right foot. He was one of the original creators with just so much English he can put on a ball. Sent through, dangerous. And Restrepo again does not need to intervene thanks to the work of his back line.
Defense doing their job to a T that time. Taylor, no trouble here for Restrepo. You mentioned Javi Baez, and again, one of the real unsung heroes. We don't speak nearly enough about him. But the glue that holds that team together in the midfield defensively and offensively. His experience shows at the most important times. Good on set pieces.
A win tonight, again, just continues to improve the chances that the Bold will see postseason play. And if they want to get greedy and go on a run on the road these next 4 outings, then the fans here in Central Texas may see them again in person.
I think they'd be thrilled for that to be the case.
A foul here on the Bold, and how could you not want to come back and see that sky?
But it's going to have to be a run on the road with the Final Four all away from Bold Stadium, and that has been difficult sledding this year for Austin.
All of that's just Photoshop, by the way. Everybody knows that. Two of the more colorful teams. Guadarrama forces Olsen to commit. No hesitation for Thomas.
When Austinite looking to play to another, and just too close in. Had that ball been played a few inches or a few feet above the 6, Tierpak may have had a shot to get to it.
Final 10 minutes of regulation. We saw 3 minutes of stoppage time in the first half. We'll see how much is added here in the second with the substitutions. Just 1 goal to speak of. And let's see if Sonny's a little banged up. Obviously, all the substitutions have been made.
Trainer out to take a look at Sonny G. He's going to head off, so Austin's going to have to play a man down for at least the time being, and maybe for the remainder of the match if Guadarrama is unable to return.
You know, for the longest time, we would see coaches hold off on using that 3rd sub until really the final moments of matches, and sometimes finish the match with just a pair of changes. That philosophy has changed. Trying to get those fresh legs to make an impact when they can.
But it certainly makes sense, particularly if you're the side who's up by 2 goals, you have that insurance goal. Why not keep that final substitution in your pocket? If you have to use it, it's there. But if you run into a situation like this, forced to play a man down against the team chasing 2 goals.
Guadarrama's ready to re-enter. You understood when the Bold had the ball, when they didn't have a sense of urgency to take it to the opposite end. Las Vegas methodical right now. Trying to find that perfect opportunity to pull within one.
Time of the essence.
11 a.m. our time on a Friday.
We have to start committing numbers forward and start putting shots on goal. It may not be perfect shots, but got to get something on Restrepo, force him to make some saves.
Check back in with Allie.
Thanks, guys. Caught up with the medical team over here on the sidelines when Sonny Guadarrama came out to receive some treatment. It was just a tweak to the muscle on his right quad. They had him, treated, right back out. He's going to be entering the match, and just a little tweak, nothing to be concerned about.
Well, he was just hovering over that ball, and he is bent over again. He will welcome the final whistle of this one.
Not the usual energetic number 33 Austin fans used to seeing, so clearly something.
Yeah, he's now down, being stretched out. And actually, no, he's still hunched over. This is now a different Bold player being stretched out on that back line.
Yeah, of course, Gustavo Ricci, the young Brazilian center back, and thankfully for Austin, that appears to just be a cramp.
Get those Flintstone vitamins.
This is just his second start of the season. He's only been in Austin for a little over a month. Still trying to get to full fitness.
Brian De La Fuente making sure that our man in charge of the time on the field has hit the pause button. Hoping Austin isn't just trying to milk that clock. So Ricci's going to come off for a moment at least. Guadarrama never went down, but he has hunched over a few times since returning. As he is in the center of your screen at the moment with that golden 33 on his back. Guadarrama fighting through it. McFarland, as if he hadn't played a minute all night. Back to Sion. Tierpak and McFarland unable to push it across the threshold, but a corner kick coming up. How does this one not go home?
How that one stayed out, I do not know. McFarland doing it all. The return pass, McFarland tried to slot it through. Olsen just enough, somehow kept out. McFarland came in at the last second.
Sosa's your hero right now. The team save on the line. Right there.
McFarland right there, but Sosa on the posts. He kept it out. Has a goal, and now he's kept one out as well.
Soto with his first service tonight. I don't know if everybody appreciated the first touch from Sion McFarland that got all of that started.
That's exactly what it was. Perfect first touch. Played it exactly where he wanted to be, and then he had the speed to blow by the defender.
Let's go, Lima!
Well, we were guaranteed fireworks tonight after the match. Austin trying to send the fans home happy with their performance during these first 90 minutes. Lima, already one goal tonight. And Tierpak realizing no need to even try to leave his feet for that one too high.
There's no way he was going to be able to climb the ladder to get to that one.
Hey, let's go, Sonny!
A good turn here. Trying to find space to serve it in.
Obviously, we'll talk about the Brazilians with the goals, but excellent work for those men on the back foursome defending tonight, along with Diego Restrepo for Austin.
And again, that was Amobia Kugo pressing forward. He's had an absolutely outstanding game. Not the guy who's going to show up in the scorebook, but he's done it all for Austin.
The captain lands on this one, De La Fuente.
And a beautiful tackle. McFarland comes in at the very end, able to send it out, concedes the corner, but with less than a minute remaining in the 90 and just a few minutes of extra time to follow. A wise decision. Para to take the corner.
Your attention, please. The fourth official on the sideline has indicated that
5 minutes for your viewing pleasure.
added time for the second half.
The hydration break, the substitutions, the lone goal adds up to 5 more.
Yeah, the few injuries. BC went down with the cramps. Had to stop it for Guardarrama as well. But trailing by 2. 5 minutes, not a lot of time.
Again, for Las Vegas, those seconds and minutes will go by too quickly. For Austin, not quickly enough. Unless you're clever. You would like all the time in the world to find another.
As with this man, Andre Lima.
McFarland, back post. It's a brace. Now a hat trick. Kluber finds his third and becomes just the second bold player to dial up 3 goals on one night.
And that will do it. The Gladiator puts the icing on top for an Austin team that had lost their last 2 matches at home. An emphatic response, a huge bounce back victory, wide open. No one within 8 feet of Kluber, maybe 10, and just too easy again. Thomas Olsen left out to dry. Kluber able to put it right by him.
Well, Austin's going to go from a -1 goal differential to a +2 if this score holds up.
That's goal number 4. Everyone gets a free pretzel.
He joins Chris Tierpak as the only 2 men this year with hat tricks for the Austin side.
But more importantly, Austin well on their way, just minutes away from getting the full 3 points tonight. And when they head to the road for these final 4 games, excuse me, they will have the momentum they need and maybe make a run, win some of these games, and who knows, maybe in the regular season in the top 4. The fans may, after all, get another chance to see this team here at Bold Stadium in 2019.
March 9th, this was a 0-0 affair.
A cold and windy Cashman Field in early March in Las Vegas. Not a lot of chances for either side. Great atmosphere is always there, but it has been vastly different tonight.
Okugo. It'll be a goal kick for Austin.
And I've said it before, but Amobia Kugo, just what a match. He's done everything asked of him. He's not the goal scorer. That's clever. It's Andre Lima, those guys that have found the back of the net. Give credit where credit is due, but Amobia Kugo has been simply outstanding in every facet. Offense, defense, transition. He's gotten back. He's been able to close things down.
Marcelo Serrano explaining to some of his players that for those who haven't achieved frequent flyer status, They're about to earn those necessary points over the next 4 weeks. They've earned 3 points tonight here in Austin with a little over a minute to go.
It's going to be difficult. We talk about these upcoming matches, having to head to Pacific Northwest twice, taking on Portland, and up to Salt Lake, out to El Paso, and finally up to Tacoma to take on the Defiance.
Trying to pull one back. As Sandoval, a couple stories too tall.
And conversely, this Las Vegas team who had won just one match on the road coming into tonight, it looked good early on. After they conceded the opener, they responded seconds later to equalize. When Austin took a 2-1 lead, they didn't have a response, and they have not since.
Well, what a bounce back for Austin. If this had been earlier this summer, this would be no surprise that they'd be victorious at home. But they had some stumbles in their recent efforts, but not tonight. Diego Restrepo and the Bold play their final home match of their first ever regular season here in the state capital. Will they be back for at least one more this postseason? Will there be a postseason? Well, we're getting closer to a yes to that second question with 3 points tonight for the home side.
Great victory tonight, Austin. Complete performance. They showed grit, they showed tenacity, and the ability to finish. That bodes well the final 4 games of the regular season.
A hat trick for Kluber, the embrace from opposing head coach Eric Wynalda. As the lights dim for tonight's fireworks, but the show has already begun with the performance from number 9 and his teammates. Let's check in. We'll hold off in a moment. Allie will have a chance to check in with some of the victorious members of the Bold.
Austin has to be very pleased. You said it, a bounce-back victory. They were so good here at Bold Stadium all season long, except for those last 2 matches. This is what they wanted to see tonight. This is what they needed to see. We'll see if they can find a way to get their way into that top 4 when the regular season comes to an end.
You said fireworks were to the right?
Las Vegas was able to answer that first goal tonight, but no answer for the next 3. 2 of which would come in the second half. Let's check in with Allie.
Thanks, Lincoln. Standing by with the man of the match, Kluber Giamazzi. Kluber, at halftime, Las Vegas head coach described you as clever. How were you able to be so clever and so creative to find the back of the net tonight 3 times?
O treinador deles falou que no primeiro tempo você foi realmente o Kluber que ele conhece, que jogou, criou e conseguiu fazer os gols.
Eu fico feliz por ter o reconhecimento tanto da nossa equipe como da equipe adversária. Eu fico feliz pelo jogo, mas eu fico mais feliz pela vitória, porque a gente tivemos um bom desempenho, a equipe toda, então a gente fica feliz por isso.
He's more happy because we got 3 points. Of course, he's happy with the performance, but overall he's happy because we got 3 points home. That's we need.
We've got the fireworks going now. What allowed this team to find their spark tonight for this victory?
Hoje nós temos os fogos. O que esses fogos podem simular para a gente conseguir pegar mesmo a chama e conseguir os playoffs?
Último jogo na nossa casa, né? Lógico que é motivo de festa, primeiro ano do clube, a gente fica feliz porque, né, primeiro ano com tantas dificuldades. Espero que no decorrer do campeonato a gente realmente continue com um bom desempenho para a gente crescer na competição.
We say, of course, the fireworks help us. It's a last game on home, so everything that we can get here, 3 points, that can move on us to the playoffs.
Thanks, Kluber. Great game, and best of luck in the rest of the stretch.
Allie, thank you. Kluber with the hat trick, as Andre Lima would factor in with a goal as well. It has been a family atmosphere for the Austin Bold all season long. Sometimes the family speaks a variety of languages. They have one in common when they're all out there on the pitch together. So well played tonight when they needed it the most to keep their hopes alive, and now they head off again, 4 straight on the road to close out the regular season.
Great performance tonight. Now we'll see if they can take this momentum on the road. See how they can finish regular season. But a big victory. You see Austin, 7th place, 43 points. Looking up, and who knows? Can they get where Orange County is? Only time will tell.
It wasn't so much about claiming those 3 points to climb the table, but simply hold on to the status quo in the difficult West in the USL Championship. It'll be a tougher task, though, for Las Vegas, conversely, moving forward. For Kit McConico and Ali Trost here on this fireworks show this evening, I'm Lincoln Rose. Big thanks to our entire crew. Austin Bold finds 4 goals tonight, led by the hat trick from Kluber. As one final time at home, the fortune favors the Bold. Next 4 matches on the road as they continue to pursue a berth in the USL Championship postseason.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.